Rashid, a city with a history dating back to 4000 BC, has witnessed the intersection of time, the ingenuity of its location, and the factors of climate change, topography, and the crises it has faced. It is known as Al-Thiga, the naval and commercial port, serving as a gateway for invaders to Egypt, the gateway of the Nile for those coming from the Mediterranean, and a gateway to the Mediterranean for those coming from Africa, adjacent to the Great Nile Delta. The activities of its people diversified in harmony with its multiple natural resources, according to the nature of the place and the changes brought about by time. They work in agriculture, the oldest profession and the backbone of the Egyptian economy, fishing, and traditional crafts based on them. Rashid is the land of 2 million palm trees and a center for the manufacture of ships and yachts. Its people have accumulated traditional knowledge associated with the agricultural calendar, which relied on the Nile cycle with its floods, the movement of the stars, and the timing of winds and storms in a calendar known since ancient Egyptian times and now known as the Coptic calendar. With the construction of dams and reservoirs on the river, the arrival of the flood stopped, the sedimentation level receded, the erosion of agricultural land increased, the desert encroachment increased with the blowing of sand-laden winds, the sea level rose, and the attacks of its sands became fierce, blocking the strait at the point of its confluence with the Nile. In light of the rise in temperatures to reach about 1.5 degrees Celsius and the decline in rainfall rates, the salinity of agricultural land increased, and water scarcity and crop scarcity became an expected danger. With the stage of linking the timeline of climate events and focusing on the importance of studying and analyzing the history of culture, risks, and climate, which is closely related to people's activities and livelihoods over time, and linking them and identifying the information and cognitive gaps in our understanding, and trying to reconnect the present with the past through traditional knowledge, new tools, and scientific data. This is the methodology developed by the First Aid and Resilience Program for Cultural Heritage in Times of Crisis, FAR, at the ICROM, which combined desk research and community-based fieldwork. Traditional knowledge has come up with solutions to the risks resulting from climate change. The sycamore tree is the tree of life for the ancient Egyptians since the time of the pharaohs, as they depicted it as a lady who brings good food and cold water. It is a tree that bears fruit 8 times a year, and it is a tree with a lush shade that reduces the heat of the air and creates a space where families of different ages gather in a continuous link that defies time and transmits the knowledge of the ancestors to the grandchildren. Rashid was full of large numbers of them until it was described as the land of palm trees and sycamore trees, until they diminished and disappeared completely. The idea of reviving its cultivation was the key to the solution, especially after it became clear that its disappearance was due to the transfer and misunderstanding of oral heritage, as it confused the concept that it gives life and the concept that it takes it. And with the correction of this misunderstanding, it was possible to replant it in more than 15 places. To strengthen the resilience of the Burj Rashid community in the face of challenges, we implemented a multi-track approach that focuses on engaging with stakeholders and actors and cooperating with them and with the people of Burj Rashid. This initiative benefited from the cooperation of Dr. Hisham Al-Jahal, the parliament member for Burj Rashid, and the support of the Hayat Karima, the presidential initiative. We started using the Insight game tool, developed by the First Aid and Resilience Program for Cultural Heritage in Times of Crisis. This interactive activity encouraged community participation and helped us identify the main risks. The weakness of the sanitation infrastructure and the potential impact of the offshore gas project on the fish wealth emerged as key issues. Based on the identified concerns, we coordinated a number of sessions between key decision-makers and influential community leaders who enjoy the trust of the population and have the ability to donate land to develop the infrastructure. This collaborative effort resulted in an important outcome, which is the inclusion of Burj Rashid in the third phase of establishing a sanitation network. This critical infrastructure project will greatly improve the well-being of the community and demonstrates the strength of the participatory approach in addressing weaknesses. As more than 5,000 fishermen are exposed to the risks resulting from climate change, an early weather warning application has been developed on mobile phones that combines traditional knowledge and weather data using graphic designs that align with the understanding of the local community. And because young people and children are the link, it was necessary to raise their awareness of the nature of their location and their understanding of the environment and its components. This approach has helped to avoid misunderstandings related to culture and knowledge, allowed for monitoring of potential impacts, and prevents the occurrence of secondary risks. It also facilitates parallel recovery efforts in both the human and environmental sectors. Indeed, the river and the sea are a living museum, they are Haya.